Hello transport nerds and welcome back to Talking Planning. Today's review starts at just after 5 AM at Hamilton Station.
Doors closing. Please stand clear.
And judging by the transport audience that follows this channel, today's one should be a good video, so let's have a closer look at the New South Wales Trainlink V set. Since 1970, the V set has played a key part in connecting Sydney to secondary centres that surround the city. Initial V set services travelled from Central to Gosford and Mount Victoria, but over the years, electrification and tunnel lowering extended their reach to Lithgow, Newcastle and Kiama, although South Coast V set services no longer operate. Most of the footage from today's review was filmed around Newcastle, as I caught a fair few V sets during January, February, April and June that made their way into this review video. Now, you're not going to see any 51-year-old V sets operating anymore, as the first batch were retired in the early 2000s, thanks to some pesky rust spots. Still, there are V sets beyond 40 years old operating on the network, making the V set easily the oldest EMU in regular passenger service in Australia, surpassing both the Queensland Rail EMU and the Melbourne Comeng sets.
The train on platform 1 goes to Gosford, first stop Broadmeadow, then all stations to Maryiung, then Tuggerah, Karimba, Narara and Gosford.
The only older passenger rolling stock in Australia that I can think of that's currently operating are some of the old V-line carriages, being built in the late 1950s or converted from 1950s Harris trains. Like Victoria's old school carriages, the V-set has had many refurbishments over the years, including several paint jobs, with cars receiving the striking State Rail Authority candy livery, the City Rail blue and yellow, and most recently a combination yellow, orange and grey for New South Wales Trainlink. Moving inside, I remember catching a few V-sets back in early 2016 which still had the green vinyl seats. However, today, I believe all remaining trains sport new carpets and a purple seat vinyl known as Bush Plum. So while we're here, let's have a listen to the V-sets now.
Doors closing. Please stand clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next stop is Adamstown, followed by Broadmeadow.
I think the new paint job and interior refresh has helped keep the V-set looking fairly fresh. But as always, there is a limit to how many times you can refresh and update old trains before retirement becomes the most feasible option, and we are rapidly approaching that point now. Sure, there are some longer-lived trains around the world, like the 1938 tube stock, some of which operate on the Isle of Wight up until January this year, racking up some 81 years of passenger service. But they too are now being replaced. Their last 30 odd years has been in a lower use environment, and they were more of a novelty service for many. But of course, sadly, the ravages of time, salt air and wood rot got to those trains too. Then again, 40 plus years of consistent passenger service is good going, especially for the very demanding intercity runs, and it's a testament to the quality of the V-sets. So as we head past Kangiangi, let's talk about the Maryiung trains, or the D-sets, which are currently undergoing testing now. Over the past few years, tunnels have been lowered and widened along the Blue Mountains line to accommodate larger trains, and there's been back and forth negotiations around the operating requirements for the new trains. Dates for their entry into service come and go, but I am excited to try one out when I do get the chance. Now don't get me wrong, I really enjoy catching V-set trains and they have served New South Wales very well for the past 50 odd years. But when it comes to passenger comfort and safety, 50 years of new technology brings many improvements. Internal and external destination signs, automatic opening doors, braille signage, wheelchair accessible toilets, and easily accessible help points are features that this train doesn't have, and that many passengers have come to appreciate and quite frankly expect of their trains. These intercarriage doors are also really narrow, and I imagine it would be quite difficult for people with mobility impairments to go between the two carriages. This is not ideal for a train which often requires passengers to be in the correct carriage for a short platform station, some of which, like Wonderbine, only have space for a single carriage on the platform. Of course though, the V-set does have a charm to it, and I'm not ashamed to admit I would generally try and catch a V-set over the Oscar if I was travelling between Newcastle and Sydney. It's important to recognise that transport networks serve a broad and diverse community, and the Oscars add many of the features I previously mentioned, and I think for many passengers better accessibility, better signage and wayfinding, and a fresher design will be very welcome. I also anticipate that the Maryiung trains will take all of those features to the next level, offering much better accessibility and ease of use. Rumour has it though that the D-sets will have fixed seats, which as a reversible seat enthusiast, I will miss. Here are those reversible seats on the V-set. I totally understand the appeal of older rolling stock, so that's why I try and look at everything in the fleet over time. And as we head into a station very rarely served by the V-set, Olympic Park, let's recap on the New South Wales trains that I've already reviewed, and the ones I'm still planning to go and check out. If you haven't seen it already, I have a playlist of New South Wales trains on this channel, which you should definitely go and check out, as it's got all of my previous New South Wales train reviews ready to go. At this point, I've already gone and checked out the K-set the Endeavour railcar, the Hunter railcar, the Tangara, the Waratah, the Oscar, and the Millennium trains. So by my account, this leaves the Waratah Series 2, and when it's introduced, the D set, for individual types that I'm yet to check out. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage for these, so it might be a bit of a waiting game. But since I now live a little further from Sydney than I used to, I'm not sure how long it will be before I get to go and check them out. But I really do hope to go and complete the set in the same way I did for the Queensland Rail Suburban Network. Eventually. So I'll leave you here with a departing shot at 5:45am on a cool February morning where this Chopper Control V set really sings. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again soon.